Hello, YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or wherever this will live. My name is Dean Messick. I am the membership/events coordinator for CEO, and I'm joined today by our 2022 39th annual Global Conference pitch competition winners. That's a mouthful, but congratulations. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, your name and your school, and we can kind of dive right into your story.
Yeah, so my name is Nicholas Nastasi. I'm the founder of 4U Medical Designs. I'm also running as the CEO currently as well. I'm at Rowan University studying business management with a minor in entrepreneurship and a minor in management information systems. And this is
I'm Joshua Perry. I go to Rowan University as well. I'm studying biomedical engineering, and it kind of got me into the CEO club as well.
Mhm.
Perfect. So there's a couple of questions I always have, and I've known you for a bit, and I wanted to ask this, but they might be answered in the following question. So how did this actually start, Nick? I know it's funny, I've known you for a bit, so I like to hear it from, the horse's mouth. Like, how did this all start? How did it come about?
Yeah, so I briefly had a traumatic experience where I was briefly on an IV bag receiving intravenous therapy. And just like any other kid, hated needles, obviously, not the most child-friendly device in the world. And during the pandemic, I was kind of thinking about the vaccinations and how a lot of children may currently be in a children's hospital while I'm at the comfort of my home. And I just had a thought, like, if the devices that are meant to help you weren't decorated, but the walls could be decorated, I just couldn't understand how that could correlate. So I wanted to find a way to decorate the devices that were meant to help you. And we landed on medical device stickers. We did a lot of market research, did some private interviews with people in the healthcare industry, and did a lot of analysis on color theory and different things like that and different studies. And I landed on medical device stickers. I mean, it's the most feasible way, I would say, quick, easy for a healthcare worker to apply. It doesn't move up and down a medical device, and it doesn't cover any of the information or measurements on these medical devices like IV bags and syringes. So we filed for our utility patent on the medical device stickers, and that's how we kind of got the ball running. Josh has always been my best friend, and he's probably the smartest guy I know. He is pursuing biomedical engineering degree, like he said, and he really helped map out a lot of the logistical aspects and operations and getting the company up and running. And we've been working together now for a year and a half.
So how did you, not to cut you off, but how did you all meet? This is new to me. How did you meet? Is it going way back to like childhood, or is it,
We had a sixth grade English class together. And,
do you remember the teacher's name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We had very similar classes from that point on. We were both in the higher accelerated classes, so we'd be studying together and working together a lot and stressed together. So it's kind of an easy fit to work together on a company now because we've had many stressful days together. So
and we think alike as well. So when he came to me with this idea, I was like, I need to help you with this. Like, this is awesome. So
how did you both apply to Rowan and this how did that happen? Because there's schools, I was friends with people in school, and we went to different colleges, and that just sort of happened, and by luck.
So I applied to a few schools, and Rowan University gave me a scholarship. So once they gave me the scholarship money, I knew I was locked in on Rowan. And ironically enough, Josh loved the engineering program at Rowan, so he was planning on going there as well. So we decided we were going to room together, but with COVID happening, we actually both backed out of our commitments to Rowan because I could get more credits done through community college route, and I actually got my associate's degree in 1 year, all virtually. So I got to come right to Rowan. He went to
I went to RCSJ, Rowan's like sister community college, and I applied for. I took their engineering courses, which honestly helped me out. Well, one, I saved a ton of money because I got community college for free. And two, it made it a lot easier process to get accepted into their engineering program because, as Nick said, it's like they have a very good program. And it's not too easy to get in. So that definitely ended up being like a blessing in disguise.
So COVID delayed it, but we still ended up back at Rowan.
That's great. So how did you end up? I'm sort of fascinated by this part of your ventures, getting the sort of a medical I say approval, but getting the sort of the groundwork, because it's one thing to put stickers on it, but getting it so it's medically approved. And how did that happen? And like, how did you go about that process? Because I know nothing about anything medical, right? And so I'm like, it was just like who had some base knowledge, or was it,
Yeah,
okay, let's just figure it out together and just figure out the next steps.
so early on, one of our members of our advisory board, Amanda Basso, she is the CEO of Wisconsin Regional Ascension Hospitals. And she was the one that had the idea to get it really sanitary protocol. And we learned a lot from her about the industry. So once we had that thought, we went about it. We worked with the STC group, who does a lot of medical grade third-party testing. And we had a great relationship with them. And we still have open communication lines with them. So it was kind of a natural process once one of our mentors really brought it up to us that are in the industry.
It was it. I was gonna follow up. That's my next question, was like your mentors, like who has helped you along the way? Was there like that? I'm assuming they did, but there's more to it.
Yeah, definitely Amanda. Rowan Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship's whole department and team, from Professor Greg Payton to Eric Ligori to Jessica Vitima to Professor Santos, Dr. Dominic, Dr. Lee Zane, etc. The whole team at the Rowan for Center Innovation and Entrepreneurship, that names I'm not even mentioning now, was such a big part in us taking our idea into a company. They've helped us from day one with the idea going into all different levels of the startup field. I would also say Joseph Cosgrove gave us a lot of insight into the industry as well. And those are some really quick names off the top, but there's been a multitude of people who have had great influence on us and have sat down with us on calls and given great feedback and advice. So I'm sorry if I'm blanking on any names right now, but there has been so many people that have guided. It's a team aspect, winning collegiate entrepreneurship organization. It didn't feel like me and Josh won. It felt like we won for thousands of people that have helped our journey along the way. So
yeah, I can tell just from the conversations I've had with just everybody with Rowan, how proud they were of you all. And touching upon that, like, what was that like for you both to go through that live? I know the virtual aspect was something you did last year and it's different, but being on that stage, like, what was going through your mind? What was like because like I personally could not do that, right? Like, I mean, as we know from years past. But so what was that like? Was it sort of just you dialed in? Was it like the nerve? Like how?
Yeah, so
I'll tell my story next, because we had kind of two different.
yeah, so being on the stage, I actually preferred it more than our first initial pitch. Oddly enough, given that there was like hundreds of people there. But one, getting that confidence out of the way, like, okay, we made it here. We obviously know what we're doing. We can do this. But honestly, one, I don't have the best vision, and two, having the bright lights in the back kind of at me, I wasn't able to really make eye contact necessarily, which can tend to make me like a little bit nervous when I'm presenting. So I was able to like really like grasp the crowd with my kind of vision being disrupted the entire time.
I honestly, I was so excited to be able to convey what we're doing at 4U Medical Designs in person, because obviously when we were idea stage last year, we did place top 100. We did not get to voice what was really the idea at that time to a live crowd. So being top 20 now, I was so excited to just come into Chicago and be able to tell our story and what we're doing, what we're accomplishing. So going into it, super excited. We practiced, and semifinal round, I felt confident. It felt like we knocked it out the ballpark. And going into the final round, the top 8, I was also same mindset. I'm ready just to talk about what I love to do, what I'm passionate about, and the difference we're making. But then we were 7th in the order. And when you see other ventures that are so accomplished, and kudos to everyone that competed with us, because they knocked it out the ballpark. Every venture's idea was amazing. The way they presented it was amazing. So that I would say that was the time period where I actually was looking at just like, dude, I'm sweating. Like I actually am getting a little nervous. But at the end of the day, what kept me to my roots was I believe in what we're doing at 4U Medical Design. So going on that stage was just talking to a crowd of people about what we're doing and how exciting it is. So I would say going seventh got me a little nervous,
Yeah.
but other than that, I was just super excited.
Yeah, see, for me, I would have been like, I want to get this out of the way. But then also, you're probably thinking about, okay, if I'm going last, it's fresh in their mind, right? So there's so many different ways you can overthink where you'd be going and talking yourself into that. Like
that's the balance. Like we were hoping maybe to go first because I'm the type like I like to go up and I'm very confident just going out and getting it in. When I'm sitting in my head, I might start overthinking what I want to say, etc. But it was a blessing in disguise. I think I got to really tune in and watch everybody, obviously, and really get to enjoy it and then get excited as well for our presentation. So
yeah, that's said it was I always try to get in there and see as many pitches as I can, but when you're doing other thing at a conference, you get pulled in and out. But I ended up seeing the majority of your pitch, but when the questions were asked, I think I ducked out for that case, not because of you guys, but like something came up, so that okay. But so what's next for you? I mean, like you got the money now, where it's gonna be, it's on the way. Don't worry. Got it.
yeah.
So like what's next for you? Like where do you see this going, right? Like immediately. I know we talked about the conference off camera, but
So use of prize money for sure. We want to spark more conversations in the industry and raise more awareness. So one of our biggest goals and what we wanted to put the money towards is attending medical conferences. For example, we were invited to the Child Life Conference, and we want to put some funds towards that so we can have a vendor table there. We also want to attend the National Home Infusion Association conference and spark more conversations in that industry conference as well. So definitely right off the bat, putting some funds towards attending some conferences, getting some more exciting conversations going on. We also are about to launch a really, really cool marketing campaign. We brought on a really cool marketing team recently with some Rowan students that are very skilled and highly talented at what they do. So we have an exciting plan that we just laid out with them. And I think that's also going to spark some more conversations with us in the industry. We're excited to continue our current partnerships with our nonprofit organizations that we're currently working with. Our nonprofit organization that we're working with, Little Saint Nick Foundation. We're super excited to keep working with them and get the ball rolling. And excited just to continue to work with the hospitals that we're currently working with and continuing implementing our products there as well.
yeah, I was like Little Saint Nick, that it's a funny that connection got made because they're in our incubator program at the University of Tampa. And so they actually came in and decorated the office yesterday. Like there's a giant tree and everything, which is great. They're a great organization. So also check them out too if you're watching this. They do great work alongside you guys.
The Little Saint Nick Foundation, that's the plug. They're amazing at what they do, and they're making a huge difference, and our missions align completely. So it's exciting that we're making a difference together.
Okay, so my brain always goes all over the place, and I want to kind of pivot because I had a question pop in my head. I was like, because I always love learning new things I didn't know about, like the different ventures. And the one thing I'm kind of curious with you is, what's the biggest like hurdle or obstacle that you have to constantly face? Like the biggest thing that's always gets in the way. I know it's a big question, but like the one thing that's like, oh man, if this would just be, a little bit easier for us, that we can just launch from here, like take off. Like what's the thing that is it always the same thing? Is it just something new? Like
I would definitely say, and you could touch on a little bit of what your opinion is. I would say the thing that we run into a lot is hospitals that already are purchasing from a group purchase order, or they have big deals with a McKesson or a Johnson & Johnson or Medline, one of these bigger medical supply distributors. And I would say getting a partnership with one of the bigger companies that are doing this in such large volume and getting our products into their group purchase order or onto their distributing platform, I think that's a huge aspect for us. But we definitely need to increase revenue and get our name out there a little bit more, get the right conversation at those distributors or organizations when we have more revenue, so we can get a part of that. Because right now that's something we're running into, where a lot of hospitals are kind of selectively purchasing from one of the bigger distributors or group purchasing organizations. So I would say that establishing stronger partnerships will definitely help us in the healthcare industry.
Yeah, and Nick, I think you definitely nailed it. I would say like validation, and that kind of like piggybacks off of what you were saying, like going and having these conversations with these hospitals and pediatric offices, and them already knowing our name, knowing who 4U Medical Designs is, knowing our mission. That will definitely help us, so that they understand, like, okay, this is for real, and we can actually we want to partner with them.
Yeah, because we are working with hospitals, we are impacting patients currently, but spreading that awareness, and that's why we touched on going to these conferences, having a stronger marketing campaign, so we can raise that awareness to establish a bigger brand in this industry.
Yeah, and it's funny when you talked about the stickers at first. I'm always wondering how things work, and so for me, I want to say I know nothing, but I pretty much am an idiot. And so
you're not an idiot.
No. But for me, like, okay, getting intellectual property for some of these stickers, is that as easy as a process as people think, or is it because I imagine if you went to Marvel or Disney, they're gonna be like, okay, well, you're selling these, and why we can license them out, and why can't we just do it ourselves? I think is a question I had. So I guess
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing, right? Like when I thought of the idea, I knew I needed to protect my idea. I needed to, before I rolled it out there, there's so many competitors and there's so many large companies that could just duplicate what my crazy idea that nobody has been doing yet. They could just copy it if it could make them money. So we first thing I did was wanting to file a utility patent. That was the first thing I wanted to do. And we got in touch with a really, really great patent attorney. He specializes in IP, intellectual property protection for a lot of different industries, but specifically medical devices, medical field based property. So we got in contact with him. He's actually part of our advisory board right now. So we have a strong relationship with him. And filing that utility patent really protects us on being the only medical device stickers that can be applied to medical devices like syringes, IV bags, feeding bags, etc.
Yeah, for me, it's when the thing you touched on earlier, I was like, yeah, it's so obvious, and you just kind of, and that's where most of those like great ideas come from, is just like, why did not nobody do this? And it's just like, oh, well, like I remember growing up, we went, it was doctor, I think it was when I was a child, I don't remember his name, so if he finds this years later, and if he's still alive, sorry. But they used to decorate the offices with like, not Sesame Street, but like Dr. Seuss and different ones. And the whole place was colorful to help give, that sense of, okay, it's a doctor's office, but like there's literally
we care
wall, right? Yeah. And like taking care and make sure that, children have that comfort when going to the doctors, as opposed to just having like, okay, because, you go to a hospital, it's very cold, for lack of a better term, and very sort of scary for someone younger. And, I'm just, as an outside person, I'm a huge fan of what you have done. It's it's a testament to the hard work you put in, and I truly believe this will go far, just from the conversations I've had with you, and it's just a great idea. So I know we were only going to do 15 minutes, and we seem to have gone over that. But if you want to give a plug to how people can contact you, how they can get involved with you, help maybe if you're watching this, you have a connection that can help. We'll attach on the video a link to your page and everything. But if you want to give us like a sort of a sign off and how they can contact you.
Yes, well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening and hearing us out to the end. We really appreciate any support, and it means the world to us that you guys want to hear about our mission to reduce medical anxiety and fear for pediatric patients. And if anybody, like Dean said, wants to reach out in any terms to support or connect us with anybody, it goes a long way. A lot of the current hospitals we're working with were introductory based. So if you have someone and you're like, maybe they could talk to this guy, maybe they could talk to her, definitely shoot it over to us. We would really appreciate it. And our socials and website. So our socials are at 4U Medical Designs, and our website is 4umedicaldesigns.com. And I would love for you guys to join our journey and follow it as we grow to impact more lives.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I said I'm a huge fan of what you have done. There's a reason why you both won the competition this year. You were standouts. And like I said, if you like the support for your medical designs, comment, like, share this video, and until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.